Okay,
I'm glad.
so this is MindShift Monday with Rebecca, and we are like super lucky to have Alicia take some time out of her day. She's an amazing real estate coach, an amazing agent, and she's a mom of three of the cutest kids ever, seriously. So she is really, 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 really good at figuring out how to mix life and work together and still, make the donuts. So she's gonna she's gonna tell us how to kill it this summer in real estate while having the kids home and even with less hours in the business.
That's right.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you're
And if
welcome.
you were not, I know you're friends with Facebook or friends with Rebecca if you're on here, but if you're not following her mindset and how she works, you've got to do that because I think that you attribute your mindset to everything, right?
Yeah. That's everything, right? If you don't have that, you're not going to survive in a lot of places, or if you do, you're going to be wildly unhappy, which I'm totally not cool with. So I got to have
Then
both,
you're the boss mindset. So
right? Oh, you're not too shabby, so I'm just
not too
saying.
shabby, but you're the boss. You're the boss. Um, so I have some things about this summer, and if anybody has questions, I'm happy to answer them. But my summer schedule is a lot different than my regular year schedule, which I've
Mhm.
shared with a lot of people. Like I've just put it out there and they're like, are you even working? Yeah, I'm working and I'm really purposeful at it. So I could share with you some of the things that I'm doing differently if you'd like, or if somebody has questions.
So I want to say this. This is our first time doing it. This is how I roll, right? I make big decisions and don't have anything set up around it. And that's what happened with this. But I love it because it's stretching me. It's making me do things because I'm telling people I'm going to, on my Facebook, so you have to. But I've never done this before. So I am not certain that we can actually have interaction. We're going to have to see how that goes. It may be something where people can ask questions after the fact. And that may be that may be,
We might be able to do it. I have my phone and I see them popping up. So if I can look to the side every now and
okay.
again,
Well, you know what? I'll
like,
check my phone while you talk and then, I'll read you questions as they come.
okay. And hi, Lori, Sherry, and Nikki. So
Yay. See, I need to go
Lori
watch
was the one that said took us, right? Which made me happy.
because yeah, she's
So
amazing.
So schedule wise, I knew that I was going to have more time with my kids. Like that was my decision. I'm going to have more time available um, since they're not in school. I want to spend it with them and I want to spend it with my family. So I decided that I was going to do my 20%, which you have to decide what's your 20%? What gets you business, right? What's most important? Because I do a lot of things throughout the year to build business. And so I am comfortable giving myself 2.5 months of building slightly instead of massively. So
Mhm.
what I'm doing is my thing is relationships, right? My whole business is built around relationships. Um, Hank Avink is my coach. He's big on relationships, if you guys know him. So all of my efforts are, I'm trying to do everything in multiplication. So I'm not trying to do anything that has a little bit of results. I'm trying to do things that have a lot of results in a short amount of time. So for me, that's send out cards and or a handwritten note. So instead of doing one a day that I do during the year, I do 5 a day
Oh, that's smart.
because for me, that is one of the things that I've introduced to my business. It has the biggest impact for the least amount of money, the least amount of time. So if I can get 5 out a day, that kind of replaces some of the relationship stuff that I would be doing out and about. So that's one thing I do. And I'm doing it all in the morning. So it's very compact. And I'm doing my 50-25-1 that is directly from Hank's 36 to Life every single day. That does not stop during the summer.
Let me ask you
Uh,
something really quick, Alicia, because
yeah.
people hear 5 cards a day and go, what am I saying? Who am I thanking? What am I thanking them for? All of them obviously aren't thank you cards. Some of them are probably anniversaries or different things, but just some examples maybe of what you're sending cards for, because I think a lot of people aren't clear on that.
Yeah. Events, obviously, right? First day of school, last day of school, because I have little kids. Anything that my kids are doing and I'm like, oh, that's cool. I would send a card for that for someone else. Like little runs that the schools do. Like I've sent one to one of my A's, so one of my top clients, their kid ran in this little race at school and they had a picture of him that he was so proud of how fast he was. And I just wrote a card that said, dude, I heard you're so fast. Like you could make a card about anything just as long as it's genuine and you're not doing it to get a referral.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. So, really
That's a good
anything,
idea.
like I would send you a card after this of us, like a picture of the live going, that was so much fun, Rebecca.
Yeah.
You know, anything that you're doing, that's how easy it is. And if you're looking on Facebook and you're using it with lists, like we've been shown how to do, is to break it up in lists and you're looking at them purposefully, you're not lost in Facebook. You're not overwhelmed. You're looking at the people you love and you care about and you like, so things pop up. Easy,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm. I agree.
So that's one of the things I'm doing. I'm any closing that I have, that if I've either pre-signed or if I've have everything lined up and there's no need for me to be there, like if my sellers aren't going to be there, I don't attend. I'll have someone else attend. I try to pre-sign a lot, actually. So that I have cut out. And also, what's the other trick? 20%. If you don't know what your 20% is, I have little notes here because I'm super visual, so that's what I got to do.
So
The
tell
book
some,
Essential.
hold on, let me slow you down for a second. Tell
Yeah.
people, there may be people who don't even know what you're talking about when you say pre-sign and
Oh,
whatever, like tell people what that is so that that's an option that maybe they have.
so in Maryland, sellers can sign their documents before the closing date. It goes faster for them. It's mostly, I find, more convenient for them. Then they don't have to show up at settlement.
Mm-hmm.
They can do it and wherever they want, whatever time they want. So that's what I do. Easy, right?
Yes.
And I mean, sometimes they want to be there with the buyer, which is great too. But if I can save them time, me time, um, good. So this little note about essentialism. If you don't know what your 20% is, like what truly, truly gets you business,
Yeah.
there's so much that people are doing that are not getting them business. Like these lunch and learns, unless it's something you're passionate about, I believe, like I'm coaching people, stop going to lunch and learns unless you're starving and you need lunch. Like you're not getting the impact. That's not getting you business, right?
Right.
Unless it's teaching you something that you are passionate about. Like you may be doing one about EXP or about referral business. If that's what you're passionate about, great. Don't go to all these just because you feel like you have to, that your broker's telling you that you need to go to. So
Right.
that book, Essentialism, it's going to tell you what to cut in, what to keep, what to cut out, how to
Mm-hmm.
decipher it all, and make sure you're getting the most out of what you should do. And it's telling you, like, what I got most out of the book is I say yes to a lot, or used to. Like I say no a lot. You have to. I don't go to lunch with people unless they're a top client or friend. Like there's so many things I say no to. I think that would hugely help your schedule. Go ahead, Rebecca. I see you
Yeah.
chomping at the bit.
No, I love that book too. And I loved the time in there where he said, if it's not a definite yes, it's a no. Like if it's not something that I definitely need to want to do, and it doesn't just, I mean, obviously we're talking about business, but just in general, if it's not something that I want to do and I don't need to do it, then I'm not going to do it. So that kind of takes out, almost like speaks to a little bit of people pleasing and showing up how other people need you to versus what you need to be doing. So yeah, I like that you brought that book up.
That'll help. And you're big on alignment. So if you're doing stuff that doesn't make you happy, that's not in alignment with your purposeful life, right?
That's
That's
right.
right. So that's a huge book. Like if nothing else, you just read that book.
Mm-hmm.
This conversation's worth it, I feel
Mm-hmm.
like.
I think so.
Yeah. So the other thing that I'm doing this summer, which I have not done in the past, is that I'm adding a client appreciation event, which I have a couple throughout the year. And I typically do them in times, not when I think everyone's available. I do them in times where I know that I'm going to need extra connections, or I know that I need to get a better, I don't know, just feel with my peeps, basically. I
Mm-hmm.
want to spend time with my peeps. So I space them out and I do them in times where it makes sense. So this summer, I know that I'm purposefully spending a lot with my kids. So I wanted to add an event because I know that is not an added activity. That's an activity that could get me a multiplying results. You know what do I need? I'll explain. You want me to explain how to multiply it? Okay.
Yeah.
So
Give them a
adding would
little
be,
extra, Alisia.
so adding would be like me hopping on here and telling Facebook this. Multiplying is me and you doing this together, because
Right.
then your peeps are seeing it, my peeps are seeing it, we're getting different channels. Adding would be sending one extra card a day. Adding would be going to drop off a gift to a client.
Mm-hmm.
Multiplication will be going to having a party that is an experience for my clients, friends, and family that does not take me a lot of time, but has exponential impact.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
So
No, that's perfect.
it makes up for a little bit of the time that maybe I wouldn't have spent, like maybe I would have done more than I did during the summer, but because I'm now having that event, it's going to make up for that.
Yeah, you can
And
get to a ton of people at once. It's yeah. No, that makes
yeah,
total sense. So what kind of
and they
events do
talk to
you
each
have?
other. So I have a bowling event, which is probably one of the favorites, and that's for everybody in my database, and that's during the winter because I know during winter can be slow for people, so I like to bring everybody together.
Mm-hmm.
And we're at the point now, I've been doing it so long that the people know each other and they're bringing friends. Now they're friends, think I'm their realtor. The one I'm planning this summer, and it's a little last minute, but we're decided to add it because of this new schedule. I would like to do it at a beach around here and just do a little bit of paddle boarding and have a good cookout.
Oh, that'd be fun.
And I tell even my coaching clients, like, if no one comes to your client event, it's still a win because you've talked to them about it and they're still in contact
Right.
with you about it.
So what's your turnout
So,
rates, do you think? Like,
oh, Rebecca, sorry.
where'd you go?
Sorry, my whole computer on my back.
It's all good. It's today.
Okay,
Like,
sorry
I
about
kind
that.
of feel like that's how this is going down. So,
I got a little too animated there.
yeah, you got excited.
I got
So
excited.
what's your turnout rates, do you think? Like, do you have, 50-50? What do you think just in general? And I know like it takes a little bit of time for people to kind of catch on and come maybe, but what do you see?
So for the bowling event, I usually invite about 150 people and I'm having about 100 show. And I
That's
think it's what portion of your database are you inviting, right? So, and the crab feast is just for my A's, and I invite about 40 people and I have about 30 show up.
okay.
It's very special. It's a VIP event, right?
Right.
And these aren't expensive. The crab feast cost me like $500 when I'm splitting it with someone else. You would
Yeah.
think it'd be a lot more expensive. The bowling party is a little more expensive, the most expensive one. But I would say you could expect, like, if you invite 100 people, you'll have half show up or a third show up
Mm-hmm.
until you get rolling.
Yeah, yeah.
But you've contacted all of them.
Right. So that's
Right?
like if you do an event once a quarter, um, I don't know, how many do you do?
I do 3.
You do
So the
3.
crab feast. Mm-hmm.
So you're close to
Um,
that, but you're touching people once every 6 months for everybody. And then
mm-hmm.
the other people.
And then I do these little coffees where I just go to Starbucks or wherever I am or donut shop and say, hey, tomorrow I'm going to be there from 9 to 11. If you stop by, I'll buy you a cup of coffee.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I've seen that too. That's one I'd actually like to do. I have to put
Well,
another
because
thing
you're
on.
working anyway. You could sit there and
Right,
work anyway. It's not stopping you from doing anything. For
right.
me, like an open house, I have a hard time multiplying the effects of an open house just because of me. Not that it can't be done, but this is something I can do, and I can connect with people, and I can post it on Facebook, and all those things that you get, and it's costs hardly any money.
And you're there with other people who are not necessarily realtors that are in, at Starbucks going, oh, you're a realtor? So
Mm-hmm.
it's not bad exposure kind of any way you look at it. It's a good situation.
Yep. So as long as I'm consistent with the things that I'm doing for the summer, consistency is a huge thing throughout the year too. As long as I'm consistent, I have no problem feeling like this will continue my growth, just not at a fast of a pace. So it's not even just surviving the summer, it's still thriving through the summer.
So how are you doing that? You have the little ones at home, so maybe
Mm-hmm.
there's some moms on here. What's your strategy? Like, how are you making that work? Because like, I know when my son is home, I shouldn't admit this, but I turn into a slacker. Like, I just want to hang out, and I'm just like, hey, of course I work, but you really have to be, like you said, intentional about it. So how do you wrangle that?
I love that. And that's me too. Like I feel guilty when I'm not spending time with them. So I have my mom watching my kids Thursday, and then I have someone watching the kids on Monday for 3 hours. So the way I get around that, everybody's like, well, so when are you working? So in the morning, my proactive communication to everyone is very early in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time before everyone gets up, and it's blocked out. So if there's any inspection going on, if there's things coming up that I need to be proactive about, like I set people up so they're not asking me questions all day the
Smart.
best I can.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like it's not like there's a big span that I'm not talking to them because I've already answered their question. If you're waiting to the last minute for everything and you're not setting people up like this, you're asking them to sit there all day long and ask you questions.
Mm-hmm.
You've set that up that way.
Right.
But if you get on at 5 o'clock and you say, good morning, just want to let you know, inspections at blah, blah, Thursday, this is what's going to happen. This is what's going to go down. This is our next step.
Mm-hmm.
If you need anything, you tell them when you'll be around. If you need anything, give me a call after this time. Or if you need anything, email me. I may, return your call later on today or whatever.
Right.
That's huge. That will save you so much time if you just get, and I'm saying you have to get up at 5 o'clock. You get up at whatever times before your whole household goes. And
right.
before everyone else, like your clients, before they're at work. Because
Mm-hmm.
once they're at work, man, they got the computer and they got questions. If they open their computer and they're like, wow, Alicia's been up for 3 hours.
Oh my gosh, you never sleep. Are you kidding me? You've been up for like the last, how many years? Like I don't think you've slept, and like, I don't even know when. I wake up sometimes and I'll like get my coffee, look at my phone and go, Alicia's been up how long? Like I'll see a message or something and go, are you kidding me? Are you still awake? And then you'll respond to me. And I'm like, I don't know what's happening.
So that's purposeful. It's not purposeful that I'm not getting sleep, but it's purposeful that I'll respond. And I just try not to respond unless it's someone I know. No, I don't respond at 2 or 1 a.m. because people get in the habit of thinking you're up. What are you doing? But if you're up in the morning and your message comes in the morning, even if you've already written it and you hit send in the morning, there's that. What's the perception of that?
Yeah. That you're up.
Not that you're a slacker, right? You're on top of your shit, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I want to show people.
Yeah. You're handling business.
Yeah. And I'm not doing anything more or less. I'm just doing it at a different time where it has the perception that I'm on top of it, and I am. But I want them to feel like that too.
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah, of course. I think that you just look like a better agent. You look more put together. You look like you are just more professional, I think, in terms of if you're organized with what you're telling your customer or your client. You guys call them clients, right?
Yeah.
We call them customers here. And people are like, when I talk to somebody, like, call them client. I'm like, we can't know what we call our customers. So
yeah.
Anyway, but yeah. Side note.
That's my default, but that doesn't mean that there aren't questions throughout the day, right? And I take a few minutes and I answer the questions. I don't leave somebody hanging until they're 2 days later, right?
Right. Oh, are you one of those people that puts on your phone? I just was making appointments yesterday for houses, and somebody was like, if you call after 5 p.m., your answer or your phone call will be returned tomorrow after 8 a.m. Are you that person? Do you like lock out?
I'm not that person, but they don't bother me.
No, they don't bother me either. I'm like, I might be the customer that if my realtor said that, I'd be like, I have to call him at 6 now. Now I have to call him at 7. Like, I have to. So like, yeah, I almost feel like that puts them off, because I think you can really teach people how to treat you so much more effectively through action and the way that you show up in their world. And like you said, being proactive, because the less questions they have, the less they're going to be messaging you at, 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah. And I'd tell them like, hey, email me, message me, whatever you want. Mm-hmm. I may or may not respond after this time. If I can get to you, I will. But just like you, I have a family, and you don't want me bugging you at whatever time o'clock, at night. Yeah. And they're like, yeah, just but I always let them feel like, go ahead, message me whenever you want. But I do set up the expectation, like, don't expect me to call you back.
Yeah.
But, feel free to let me know whenever you're thinking.
Well, and if it's an emergency, obviously you're getting back to them, and if it's something that, really needs attention, then yeah. But if not, yeah, I'm fine with getting back to them later. I think people know the difference. So
yeah. I also schedule calls. Like if someone I know, if they have, I deal with a lot of people who have small children, because mm-hmm. I think that's just because I have small children, it happens. I try to schedule calls. And I know a lot of people are like, don't schedule nighttime calls. I do if they have kids, like after they're in bed, because any time at night is not a good time to talk to someone who has little kids. Like from when you pick them up from school until 9 o'clock at night, not a good time. So I will say, if we're talking about something, let's schedule a call at 9 o'clock when everyone's in bed.
Oh yeah, we do that. We talk late.
We talk, and that's scheduled, right? It's not like calling up and saying,
Always.
oh, is this a good time? No, we'll schedule it so everybody knows, everybody gets their kids down, because that's a fact of life. Like, we are lying to ourselves if we feel like our parents don't have kids like we do. Like, they're running
Mhm.
the same life that we are. Not
Yeah.
everyone has kids, but everybody has things. Maybe they're at dinner with their friends or whatever. They don't want
Yeah.
to be in the middle
Don't
of dinner.
remind me. My son has gone to college. Thanks, Alicia. No, I'm just kidding.
Sorry.
No, no, no.
Or the
But
next day. Like, Amy B schedules her calls for the next morning.
yeah,
Right? I do that sometimes, but that won't always work for me because I might not be available the next morning unless it's
right.
time I need. So
Yeah.
either one, either after the kids are bed or at such and such time in the morning. So we all have it scheduled.
hmm No, that makes total sense. So what else is that your tips? Do you have, what else you have?
That's my tips. I mean, the other thing with the 20% is huge. Like, I think the biggest problem we're seeing with agents is they don't know what their 20% is. So they feel like they have to do it all. And all of it is not giving them results. So why do it
So
all?
right. So it's like the idea of in the business or on the business, right? Because when you're working in your business, that's when you're going to be making that's when you're actually out doing your real estate, right? That's when you're showing houses and going to inspect, whatever you have to do. But, the other portion is when you're actually setting yourself up to have business, right? Because if we don't have
Absolutely.
that, right. So the 20%, you're saying the 20% is your money making activities, your lead generating activities.
100%. And to go along with that, your lead generating activities can certainly be lead attraction activities where you're just doing your life more purposefully. Like, I never had the opportunity, well, not never, the opportunity for me, I wasn't able to efficiently lead generate separately from living life. So I just found out a way to whatever I do in life is a lead attraction opportunity, because I don't go, oh, here's my 3 hours of lead gen. I don't do that.
Right. It's not you. And I love that you brought that up because I was talking to somebody yesterday and we were talking about goals. And, there's some people who are these big advocates of blocking your entire schedule. And then there's other people who are advocates of having your top 3 things or whatever. And it's like, you just like you said, and I think that you will end up finding exactly what's going to work for you so much quicker if you listen to what everybody's doing, but then figure out what feels right to you and what's reasonable and what you're going to actually do. So yeah, I love that idea.
Absolutely.
So what do you do? So are you a person that brings your for sale sign in your bag and how do you do it? Just,
That's me.
okay. No,
Yeah.
I mean, that's an awesome way to do it. I'm just curious, I have some people who I've seen that, wear their name badge everywhere or whatever it is. So everybody has their thing, their way, or wrap their car, like everybody has their thing.
Yeah. I'm really just me. So, like, anytime I have an opportunity, one of the biggest things that I've done that hasn't caused a lot more effort for me, but I've been able to get clients from, is that I help coordinate things. So, like, for a mom's group, everyone doesn't have time to do this. So I'm the coordinator. So I'm like the leader of the group, but I really haven't done anything except for pick time, get everybody together and pick the place. Right. And
Mhm.
did a Facebook event or something, or I'll do small things like that where I'm coordinating play dates or I'm coordinating dinner with my friends. I just know that I don't not do that. Like, before, a couple of years ago, I would have not done that because I felt that it wasn't work.
Right.
I'm in the relationship building business.
Right.
So anything activity that I can do that's relationship building, that's work for me. And I'm not gonna feel guilty about it.
So that's
Stop
part of
feeling
your,
so guilty.
that's right. No more
Stop.
guilty. Stop those stories. Dang it.
Yeah.
So that's
Which
part of
I'm
your
working
20.
on, you know.
So that's part of your 20%. So anything
Mm-hmm.
that's building relationships is part of your 20%. So it doesn't have to be like now business stuff or actually, because it's interesting to think about when you have, the way you just said, you lead generate in different ways. So figuring out that 20%, that is a big deal.
Yeah. Because you know how you can, when we're talking about lead attraction, if you're being the human being that's awesome, and I think humbly, I'm awesome in some ways and I'm crappy in other ways, but I think I'm a good
You're
agent.
totally awesome.
And I don't, like we're saying, we're not quitters. Thank you. You are too.
No, if you could have seen what we had to go through to get on here. That was
But when
funny.
you show up to things, like I know you do yoga, When you're doing yoga, do you show up like you are now?
What do you mean?
Do you show up like the human that you are now, or are you like
Yeah,
grumpy and like get out of my way or like
yeah.
coming late every
I mean,
time?
I'm a little grumpy depending on the pose, but I mean, other than that, I'm good. Those
So,
poses are killers.
but you are who you are, and wherever you go, you're going to show up like that. And as long as you're
Mm,
showing up consistently, that's
mm,
where you're going to get the lead attraction. So, some of my coaching clients will know the story because I'm like, oh, great, she's telling this again. But a couple years ago or a year and a half ago, I signed up for this try program that I did. And I was like not as healthy as I wanted to be. I wasn't as in shape, but I wanted to do this. And it was during work hours. It was 9:30 to 10:30 a.m. I had the baby with me. I'm like, I don't care. I'm going to do this. It cost like $150. And I sure as heck got a client out of that. And it was only like 8 of us who did it. 8 of us
really?
went through this. Yeah. Went through this 6 weeks because she don't you think she could see how I was showing up there?
Mm-hmm.
Like a
Yeah,
badass, like I'm showing up like a badass.
yeah, and
And
people
then,
think that you have to be some certain way as a realtor. Like, people want to deal with people that they can relate to. People want to deal with people that they're comfortable with. I mean, obviously you want a professional in terms of somebody that knows their numbers, that, you know, can do the business side of it. But outside of that, we want to deal with people that we can relate to and people who, you know, are kind of like us. So it makes perfect
mhm.
sense for you to do that.
So just be more of yourself and be there and be consistent. Don't just show up. Like if I went once, I wouldn't have gotten her as a client. But I showed
Yeah.
up every week. I did my thing. I worked hard. And she didn't even know I was a real estate agent till like the last 3 classes because I had a sign in my bag. She goes, are
Yeah.
you a realtor? I'm like, yep. She goes, I didn't know that. I'm selling my house in a couple months. Can you come over? Like, yep.
Yeah. Heck yeah, I can come over.
Yeah, and remember, I have a baby in childcare downstairs. Not once did she say, "Oh, you have a baby. You're probably just a part timer," or
Right.
any of that stuff that people like to tell themselves. That's not true.
Mm-mm.
I showed her
No.
house, and it was a healthy commission.
Yeah. People know
And
you, like
and
you,
I have
trust you.
another relationship from the same group that I love having. We were friends before, but doing that with her, now we have a really great relationship. So
Yeah. I mean, so I um, did my son's football for the first, well, really for all 3 years that he was at Sandalwood. I was like the boosters because we didn't, and it's crazy. We have one of the biggest schools in Florida and they don't have a real live boosters program. So I did pretty much all of that, not for any reason related to real estate at all. But I really just wanted my son and the other boys to have, you know, the things that you have, like the banners and the pregame meal and whatever. So I'm like a huge softie when it comes to feeding kids. I feel like they all should eat. So I was like, I don't want these kids to be at school and then have to play football and not eat. So anyway, so I did
good
that.
motivation.
Yeah, and I took a bunch of crap. Like, it was drama and politics. And, you know, I mean, I remember literally Taylor Swift's Shake It Off. Like, I remember driving down the road, totally crying, singing that song. And like in that moment, I got my energy together. I'm way off path here, but it was that type of thing. But I just knew what I wanted, so I stuck with it. Anyway, I ended up getting customers through that. And right now I actually have the coach's house listed and he's buying. I mean, it's going to end up being almost $1 million deal off of just showing up and doing, you know what I'm saying, what you want to do. Like when you're just being yourself and you're following your own instincts, inspirations, passions, you're going to win. You're not going to not win if you're being yourself. And I think that's something that like we all struggle with, is just showing up in this hugely authentic way, because a lot of people are scared of it because they haven't figured out how to do it. So they're like, well, don't do that. That's not right, or whatever. And, but anyway, yeah, showing up authentically in groups. And I have other customers that will come from that. I've had other customers from that. I'm sure I've done, you know, several $1 million just from football. And it's not a reason to sign up to do it,
Right,
but it's a perk.
100%.
If you find something that you really like and something that you can enjoy doing, then do it.
Well, you're doing something that like you like to say is in line with yourself. Like you love to do it, whether you get business from it or not. it's going to have a compound effect in other areas, even if you don't get business there. People are going to see that.
Right.
And you're attracting the people that are your vibe, right? Like
Right.
you just being you're going to attract the great people. If you go out and you're not a cold caller, you're trying to cold call, like all you're going to get is people who are attracted to cold callers, but you're
Right.
not a cold caller. You know,
Well,
whether you do that or not, it's definitely effective, but
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think that you can get people that way. I mean, I've gotten people that way. I am such a cold caller. It's ridiculous. Like
and
I'm
you're still being you though. You're not doing it
right.
someone else's way.
Right. Like, yeah, if you're really salesy, I'm so not salesy. I should take a class to be more salesy. But yeah.
Not knocking any of that either. Like
No,
more
no, no,
power
no,
to you,
no.
anyone.
If
But I
it's
can't
your
see you
jam,
reading a script.
yeah, if it's your jam, then do it. Like if it's your thing,
Yeah,
then do it. Wherever you find like your little flow, then that's where you have to go. It's like people that are like, oh, you have to do video or you have to do door knocking. It's like, dude, do what feels right and the rest of it will take care of itself. Stop being too worried about what you should do and asking, and looking and what's the best way and what's the quickest way. The quickest way is to figure out what you like and do it.
I
And you'll start
agree.
making
And I
money.
think that's a huge point you made about people being scared, because I think the reason they're not being themselves because they're scared that being themselves isn't going to attract the business. And I
Yeah.
just think if you are yourself, it will happen. We just have to get like the mindset to where you are good enough to attract the business that you want, and just
Yeah.
put it out and it'll come.
And your numbers start to go up. I mean, as soon as you like, it's almost like when you're chasing it, it's harder to find than when you're just attracting it. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're going, chasing it, like, oh, I've got to go do this because I got to get business or whatever. It's like almost harder to come up with than like I think I get more deals hanging out by the pool than I do, like sitting here glued to my desk for 3 hours, calling people. So not to say you can't get it that way, but you know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
when you're doing what you love and you're mixing it all in, which is you're like an expert at that. That's your thing.
Thank you. That is my thing. That is my thing because I had no other option. Like it
Right.
was either put the kids in daycare and do this separate, or figure out a way to make it all work together
Yeah.
and, do it all.
And
Yeah.
no, I can definitely,
And it's fun.
yeah. No, it's good. And your kids, like, I don't know, if your kids ever get to go with you to stuff, but like, I know Zay was a huge, because remember he was homeschooled for a lot of years and it was just me and him and he would go with me to things like showings or, I mean, I have customers who were still, send him graduation cards and, and I'm like very into what he's doing and want to know about him. And like, I feel like Zay sold me sometimes like, yeah, we'll use you because we like your kid.
Yeah,
So
no, I mean, your kid does say something about you. I have 3, so it's kind of hard to
no, I
wrangle
know.
them for showings unless someone's like, can we please see your kids? And then I'll take the 2 older ones. But will tell you about the parties that we were talking about earlier. The
Yeah.
way I pick parties is things that I like to do. Like I have a crab feast because I love crabs.
Me
That's why we have a crab
too.
feast. We do
Wait,
bowling because my family can come. But
don't you guys have lobster up there? Oh no, that's Maine. Okay, sorry.
Maine, yeah. But blue crabs are amazing here. Like
Yeah.
I do that because it's close to my
Love
house.
crab.
I love crabs. And that's my VIP event. And the bowling I do because all my family can come and it's
Yeah.
laid back and it's good for someone with 3 kids under the age of 10. So,
Right. What's it run you?
and
Give us a ballpark.
sure. So the crab feast is about 500. It's about 1,000 total. And then we split it. And the
You
bowling
split it with
party
who?
to rent out the lender.
With Lender. Okay, just making sure
So
for.
but you could split it with more, right? You could
Mhm.
split it with more affiliates. And then the bowling party is about $2,700 and we split it 3 ways.
Okay.
So not too bad for that amount of people. And that's including food, bowling, everything.
Oh, that's not bad. No, it's
Yeah.
under $1,000. Would you say 100 people show up?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's good. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And
I
it's
love it. And they're starting to be like, when's your bowling party? And people will say at the crab feast, like, we better make sure we give you referrals or we want you not be invited next year. That
right.
may or not be true, but they're saying that themselves. I don't say that. Like, I'm never up at the bowling party of the crab feast saying, thank you so much for all of your referrals this year. I don't. They just call
Oh,
and have a
good to
great time.
know. Good to know. I was
Yep.
wondering, what do you do? It's just come on in, you go and say hey to everybody, but you're not, I would feel super corny doing that. I'm not saying people who do that are corny, but I'm saying like I would feel that way personally. It's not me. So I would feel weird getting up and addressing everybody.
Like, even on the invites, I tell them for the bowling, like, go ahead and grab your shoes. It's all available. You don't need to find me before you start bowling. You just go and
Oh,
do your thing. This is just for you.
smart,
I like to tell them that
smart.
because I am not a big, like, I'm not a huge extrovert. I don't like schmoozing with people. So I just want them to have a good time.
Yeah.
That's my thing. So did they have any questions? Oh,
I
I see
haven't
Monica
seen,
Weekly. I see
let me see.
Paris, Tom Elkins.
So does anybody have any questions? Anybody that's on here? We have some people on here.
I really would say the biggest part is realizing what actually is going to get you results and not being fooled by what you think will.
Well, I love something that Hank said to me a while ago, and I think it is true in some part. I think it is true, and I think there's a couple pieces to it though. But it's like, you can look back at your schedule or how you're spending your time. Use that to find your 20%. Go back and look. What have the last 2 weeks been comprised of, and have you gotten any leads? And if you have, where does that come from? And then I would be the one that would say, and okay, those actions are there. And how are you feeling? Like, where are you at with it? Because I think we discount how we feel so much in the name of taking big action. And I'm the first person to like fall face first into a boiling pot of water and it's like, I'll do that. I'll make a big decision. I'm super high D. I think it's S. Which one brings you structure and like details? Is it the I, the
See the
S?
details.
C is the details. Okay, I lack C in a major way. I need some C in my life. I'm D, and I'm
But that's why you're an awesome realtor.
yeah. Well, yeah. Well, maybe but it's weird because in real estate, I'm totally different. But when it comes to these kind of things like this, I just literally was washing dishes and I didn't skip a beat. I was like, okay, let me get on here and tell everybody I'm going to do this.
And
So
we're like, we're figuring it out.
yeah. And it's like,
Okay.
okay, I didn't realize that I was going to have to show property this weekend and do this and do this. And now I've committed. So yeah, I don't know where I was going with any of that.
The bottom line is if you're trying to run a referral business and a relationship business,
Yeah.
your 20% should be based around how can you be in better relationship with the people you care about? How can you celebrate them? How can you love on them without kissing their butt? Because that's different, right? Kissing people's butt for a referral is totally different than genuinely celebrating them.
Yes. No, that's gross. Don't do that.
No butt kissers.
But yeah, no butt kissers. But what about the people who don't have a big circle of influence? I mean, I like this idea and I love, but that's probably the question I get the most is, hey, I'm just starting out. I don't have a ton of people to do that with. Like, you do have to generate now business. And some of it, a lot of stuff, if it's relationships, it takes time. That's something that you nurture for down the road. But what are your, like, if you had to give, I know you're a relationship person and that's your kind of expertise, but if you had to give any advice on, hey, I need business now, what's your go-to?
What are you not doing because you feel guilty about it? And then go do that.
And then go
That gym class that I told you I took, that person that was a 6-week program and I did not know her before that.
Okay.
So relationships can be a fairly immediate business. That's
Okay.
6 weeks. So let's say I had that listing probably in 4 weeks
Mm-hmm.
with someone who I'd never met before.
And if you had brought your sign earlier,
might have had it in 3 weeks.
That's right. Yeah, could have been sold in 6.
I think it's a fallacy that you can't get business through relationships quickly. It's just, are you willing to go out and do things to make new relationships in a world that's like you, right?
Yeah.
Like, you want to go do things that are like you and people will be attracted to you. Like, how many times have you think anybody's listened, like, have you ever met someone and you've only known them for a couple weeks and you found out that they were selling X and you're like, she's totally cool, I'm buying from her. Like,
yes.
You want whatever she's selling.
Yes.
It doesn't take years to build this. You can do it. Yeah. So you've done it. I've done it.
Mm-hmm.
So why wouldn't someone do that with you?
I don't know. I just know I get that question a lot. So here I am. But
So
yeah. No,
that
I agree.
is
Like I mean, not being an undercover agent, number one, it's amazing to me how many agents, when I go through Facebook and I'm trying to accept a friend request and I don't want to go through a lot of trouble, I have no idea they're an agent because their profile doesn't say it. That to me is like the craziest thing. So yeah, I think being not obvious, but being passionate about what you do is good because it's going to come up one way or the other, or something's going to happen and you'll, be able to put it out there. Hey, Tom is asking, what are the most important time blocks you put in your weekly schedule?
So for summer, remember it's a little different. I don't know if Tom was on earlier than during the year, but my time block right now is morning hours and then Thursday and Monday for coaching
Mhm.
and appointments. But every single morning I have a time block for an hour for send out cards. And I have about 45 minutes to an hour for proactive communication, for relationship building in the morning with my human base.
Okay.
That's it. I have 2 hours in the morning. That's building my business throughout the summer. Basically 2 hours in the morning, and then Monday's coaching, Thursday's appointments, and meeting people in person and all that stuff.
Okay. All right, cool.
So, yeah. Does that help, Tom? Like really, those two things. Like, so my thinking is like if hell broke loose and everything went to the hell in a handbasket, if I just did those 2 hours, my business would stay stable for the rest of the summer and one party.
Right.
The rest of the stuff is closing deals, getting proactive, adding stuff for the following year. But that's, yeah. And if you don't do send out cards, that's not like a rule you have to use send out cards. Do a handwritten note, do something special for someone, send cookies, do something.
Right. And it's
It's
all
celebrate.
relationship stuff that you're talking about. I mean, all of it is relationship. And I also think it's important to have some time in your schedule for, learning something, like whether you're watching something like this or you're getting on another podcast or you're listening to an audiobook or something. I try to do some sort of learning once a week. Whether it's listening to, I can't listen to a book every single day because there's music that I want to listen to and I want to listen to it. So I don't I have my things when I'm working, and I cannot effectively listen to a book and work at the same time. So I have to do it, but anyway, I think that part is important for me.
That's my fit in stuff. So
Yeah.
anything like that, like it is, I don't listen to music. Don't have that in me. So I don't really listen to music, not much, a little bit. So in the car, I'm listening to a book. At night, I'm probably listening to a book, stuff like that. Like that's my fit in. Like I don't schedule that because I don't have enough time in my schedule to make it while someone's watching the kids or while
Well, we are different because I do my goals for the day. When I time block, it makes me freaking anxious. Like I cannot live like that. So
yeah.
we're different in that way. I have 3 goals a day and I make those goals. And if an audiobook, and I also have a week, so I have weekly and then I have each day. So I split them out. So an audiobook or learning or something, that's just going to be a thing for the week that I'll fit into, but I can't,
Yep.
like, time blocking makes my heart beat fast. Like I can't live like that. I feel
I
pressure.
have a coaching client who said the same thing, and I said, "Well, stop doing it. Like, if it's not
Yes.
working for you, don't do it." It can, and so footnote on that. That's my default schedule, right? I have a baby who's 2 years old who's had a lot of health problems. If she doesn't sleep, and she's asleep at 7, I might be sleeping until 7, right?
Yeah.
And then my schedule will shift, but I know that I have to get that in, or it's going to disrupt my flow because right now we're talking about closings in September, October, November. Whatever you're doing right now, if I
Yeah.
don't do it, I got to put it somewhere, right? It's just got to float up because
Right.
real life happens. People get sick.
Yeah.
You get tired. You want to sleep in. Whatever. It just can't go away.
So you
That's,
see this last question. When the
oh,
kids head back to school, what does your schedule look like? It's a heck of a lot more full. What are the
yeah,
ways
it is.
you pump it up? I think the fall is almost kind of yeah. I mean, I used to always get excited because I'm like, ooh, I could do a lot of work. When Zay did start in 11th grade.
Well, remember, I still have one kid at home because my daughter's 2.
Oh
So
yeah.
next year I'll still have a daughter at home, except
Mhm.
for 2 days. We'll have somebody watch them 2 days. I will post it for you guys because it'll be a little bit different this year versus last year. It is pretty packed. Like I just make the most of every time, just like I do during the summer. I just have so much more activities going. and I do work at night, during the school year too.
Mm-hmm.
Like I do take Saturday morning 9 to 12. Like I'll do showings then. That's a time that I'll dedicate to real estate, which is okay with me because I get to have the time off during the week.
Mm-hmm.
So that's okay. So Jamie, I will post my schedule.
Okay.
And I'm happy to post my summer schedule in here for people to look at.
Oops.
Yeah. Oops.
Things I didn't
Um,
think about. So
so
good.
yeah. So I'll post it. Is there any specific question about the schedule? I can highlight. I'll be happy to. I mean, I'm an open book. I'll share whatever.
I think what
And
she
my
wants to
clients, like,
know is kind of like how do you go from summer to fall where you're like ready to get back in the swing? Like, is there particular things that you add back in that, do you know what I'm saying? Like right now you do send out cards on Facebook. What's the new things that you add back in? I'm guessing. If I'm wrong, Jamie, just put it on there. Won't be the first time.
so I'll do more Facebook, right? Because I'll have more time.
Okay.
And everybody should be doing Facebook. Everyone should be doing lives unless it gives you hives, right? If it's not your jam, but you should at least give it a try.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and what am I missing most? I wish I had my schedule in front of me. Calls, a little bit of in-person stuff. Like I will be doing more. I'll go out to lunches maybe once a month with an A. I'm not probably doing that during the summer.
Oh, right. And I
I'm not.
think too, it's important for people to, I think that we tend to get spread very thin and we want to do Facebook and Instagram. We know we can do like a circle marketing that way, but you don't really get you in that as much because it's feeding through and you're not putting your own, I don't know. I feel like you need to find your platform and roll out. If your platform is LinkedIn, then kill it on LinkedIn. And if you love Instagram, then kill it on Instagram. And if you love Facebook, kill it on Facebook, but find your thing and stay consistent and give it, like, keep going, like wait for the results because the results will come. You cannot be consistent on any of those platforms and not grow. You're gonna grow.
Consistent with anything, right?
Right. Yeah, for
Anything
sure.
that you're doing.
Yeah.
So there'll be a lot more the learning, like continuing ed. I'm not going to do during the summer. Like that just doesn't make sense. Planning for other parties or planning to develop my business that's during the winter and fall and spring. That's not during the summer.
Mm-hmm.
This is just helping my relationships along.
Yeah.
Like let's say I might add something for the fall about meeting new people that will get into my database, but it has to be something that I really like to do.
Yeah. And you don't
And
mind. And you'll do it during business hours. I'm that way too. Like, because I
yep.
consider it my work. Whatever we do, we're
Yes.
showing up with other people. You can potentially be getting a lead.
Yes. I will tell you my number one referral source in the last couple of years is a preschool that my kids went to because I've kept in touch. I send a couple things a year in the mail, but mostly it's from connecting with them, planning the events like the dinners every now and again. It's not every month, and just showing up as the person that I am. And don't be telling a story that you want other people to hear. That didn't make sense. Don't tell a story just because you think other people are going to tell it in a way that you think they'll like. Just tell your own story. Don't care what anybody else thinks, and the right people will show up.
Yeah, and don't be like salesy with it. Just be like, yeah, da 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 da. Like, people know. People are way smarter, and most of them won't say one word, even if they do figure out that you're just telling them that you had a crazy day because a deal fell apart when you really aren't feeling, you know what I mean? When you're forcing a conversation, it comes off so much different than if you're just, like you said, just being authentic with it. I think authenticity is one of the number one things, and it has been forever. That word has been around forever. But the more that you can be who you are in your business, meaning, the good, the bad, and the ugly, the more that you can be that in your business, people are going to relate to you and they're going to like you. And the biggest thing is they're going to remember you. I mean, Alisia remembers my yoga because I got on a video and talked about somebody farting in my yoga class. I am certain that that's why she thinks about yoga with me, because I don't do yoga every day, but I did a video about it because it was ridiculous. And so, but if you do those things, whatever you do, if the more that you're yourself and just having real conversation, that's a conversation. I'll pick up the phone with my best friend and be like, oh my gosh, this person was farting. Like it would be funny to me. So why not let people see that? Other people are like put at ease when they're like, oh, she's normal too, or
But
not.
if you don't think it's funny, don't type it because Rebecca thinks it's funny is the thing. Like just because we think it's funny
Right.
doesn't mean that you should go do stuff like that. Like it's got to
Right.
be what's you.
Yes.
And just a footnote on that, when I said where my biggest referral source was over the past couple of years, I never once at any of those points when I met those people ever mentioned real estate
Right.
unless they asked me. So there
Yep.
was no, this is what I do. What do you do? None of that. It was other people saying, did you know Alisia was a realtor? Or like, she sold my house. She's awesome. It was not me
Mhm.
poking around at
Yeah.
all. So,
Yeah, that makes sense. You're a rock
yeah.
star. It all makes sense.
And for the record, like we're not talking about, I'm not doing 200 transactions a year, right? So if that's something that you want to do, this may or may not be for you. But if you want to do 30, 40, 50, 60, you can totally do it this way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Lori's right. You remembered her for the tuchus. Like certain things
Yeah.
stand out, right? And when you're just
Yep.
doing you're like, oh yeah, that chick. So yeah, it made me
Yep.
laugh. You think of
Yep.
it. So yeah.
Um, questions was the other thing. And I know we got to go because I am on point with my schedule that I get
Me
off when I need to get
too.
off.
And I'm watching it. We got 3 minutes to make it happen.
Questions. The one thing that I would leave, and I tell every one of my coaching clients, and Hank tells us, like, the quality of your questions will improve the quality of your life.
Mm-hmm.
And what questions do you need to ask yourself? What question do you need to ask yourself about your schedule? What's your truth?
And
That's
what
it. If
questions are
you
you engaging your customers with? Are you asking questions about them when you're not even with your customers and you're building relationships? Are you genuinely interested in people and what's going on? Because if you're not, it's not, it shows up that way.
Yep. Just always ask questions. If you're nervous and you're just, questions go a long way, right?
Yeah. And it takes the spotlight off of you.
That's why I'm good at it.
Me too, actually. I'm so like, yeah, I'm that way too. I'm not a good networker. I like freeze. So
That's why we're good. So Rebecca and I know each other, and we have a friendship in totally different states because we throw off a similar vibe. We're not exact copies of each other, but we got a similar thing going.
yeah, it is true. Well, very
So,
cool. I'm
all right.
so glad you were on the first ever, what is this, an episode, a show? I don't even know, but we were live and it just went down. So I'm excited for that. And I hope that people got value. And you're going to be on here again at some point because that's probably just happening. And
Sure.
oh, when the fall comes, you can come and tell us what you're doing with your schedule.
I would love to.
And give
I'll
us.
have it done before fall, but I'll definitely come on in fall. So
Okay,
cool.
cool.
Thanks,
All right.
Rebecca.
Have a great
See you
one.
guys.
Thank you. Bye,
Thanks.
guys.
See ya.
Okay. Now I figure out how to get off here.